My name is Sierra Vance. I have worked the gardens at Thornwick Hall for 30 years. My mother worked them before me, her mother before that. I know this land the way you know a person you have loved for a long time. I know where the frost sits longest in spring. I know which corner of the kitchen garden the rabbits get into. I know the sound the old wall makes when the wind comes off the downs. And I know when the meadow is wrong. That morning, the 16th of July, I walked out before 5. The sky was the color of milk. The grass was wet. My boots made a soft sound that I had heard 10,000 times. I walked the long path, past the orchard, past the stone bench where the king's father used to sit, down to the meadow gate. I stopped at the gate. Something was off. I stood for a long while and tried to name it. The dew was right. The light was right. The hedges were full and green. The hawthorn was where it had always been, the blackthorn behind it. The dog rose tangled through. But it was quiet. That was the thing, it was too quiet. A meadow in July is not a quiet place. A meadow in July hums. It hums low and steady from the ground up. Bees in the clover, hoverflies in the yarrow, the dry tick of grasshoppers, the little snap of wings against stems. I stood at the gate and I listened, and I heard the wind, and I heard a wood pigeon a long way off, and I heard a tractor on the lane. I did not hear the meadow. I opened the gate. I walked in slow. The flowers were there: knapweed, field scabious, bird's foot trefoil, lady's bedstraw, the whole proper list, my great-grandmother's list. The flowers had not failed us. But the wings had. I knelt down. I watched a single white butterfly cross the path. One, I waited. Another came. Two, I waited longer. A bumblebee, fat and slow, landed on a thistle. 3 and 5 minutes. I have counted in this meadow since I was 9 years old. In a good year, on a morning like this, I would have counted 30. I sat down in the grass, and I did not know what to do. That was when I saw it. It was on a stem of knapweed, about a hand's length from my knee. It had not been there a moment before. I would swear to that. It was blue. Not the small blue we get on the chalk path in June. Not the holly blue from the garden wall. It was bigger. The blue was different. There was a pale silver underneath, with small dark spots. The edges of the wings caught the early light and held it. I have looked at butterflies all my life. I did not know what this one was. I stayed very still. I did not reach for my phone. I did not breathe loud. It sat on the knapweed for what felt like a long time and was probably 20 seconds. Then it lifted. It did not hurry. It went over the long grass in a slow, climbing way and was gone before I could stand. I stood. I looked at the empty stem. I walked back to the cottage. I made my tea. I did not tell anyone what I had seen. I told myself I had imagined it. The light was strange. I was tired. I had been thinking about the count all week. But I did not believe myself. The count was at 10. The Queen would arrive at 9:30 with the children. Mr. Halloran would come from the village before that. There would be clipboards and walkie-talkies and a small fuss in the kitchen about whether to put the lemon cake out at 11 or at 1. I put on a clean shirt. I tied my hair back. I went to the walled garden to set out the tables. The meadow was still quiet behind me. Mr. Halloran arrived at 9. He came up the drive in his old green car. He has come up that drive in that car for 42 years. He is 73 now. His knees are not what they were. His eyes still are. Morning, Sierra. Morning, Mr. Halloran. Quiet, is it? It is. He looked at me a moment longer than was needed. He did not ask. He never asks. He waits. I did not tell him about the blue. We carried the table from the potting shed to the lawn beside the walled garden. We laid out the clipboards, 6 of them. Battered green plastic, the same 6 we have used since I was a girl. The paper on top was fresh. The pencils were sharpened. Mr. Halloran had brought his own pencil. He always does. "How many years has it been now?" he said. 28, I said, counting this one. 28. He shook his head a small amount and then he set out the walkie-talkies. 4 of them. Black, scuffed, the antennas bent. They had belonged to the gamekeeper before the gamekeeper retired. At 9:30, the Queen came down the path from the hall. She came on foot. She always does for the count. She was wearing a brown jacket and good boots, and she had her hair pinned up the way she does when she means to work. Behind her came the princess. Behind the princess came the prince. The prince was carrying a notebook. He was 9 years old. "Lady Sira, Mr. Halloran, good morning." "Good morning, Your Majesty." "Are we late?" "You are exactly on time, ma'am." The princess was 12. Her name was Aloan. She had her mother's height already and her father's quick mouth. She looked at the table and the clipboards and she sighed the way a 12-year-old sighs when something is going to be slow. "Are we doing teams again?" "We are doing teams," the Queen said. "I want Mr. Halloran." "You have me," the Queen said. "That is not fair." "It is very fair. Tobin has Lady Sira. You have me. Mr. Halloran is the umpire." "I am the what?" Mr. Halloran said. "The umpire," the Queen said. "You walk between the teams and you settle arguments." Mr. Halloran looked at me. I did not look back. "Very good, ma'am." The prince had not spoken yet. He was looking at the clipboards on the table. He looked at one, then another, then a third. He picked up the third one. It was the most battered of the 6. The corners were soft with use. The clip was loose. "This one," he said. "Any reason?" I said. "It looks like it has counted the most." "It probably has." He held it against his chest. He did not put it down again. The Queen took her walkie-talkie. The princess took hers. The prince took his. I took the 4th. Mr. Halloran took none. "Channel 2, the Queen said. "Channel 2, the princess said. "Channel 2, the prince said. We tested them. They worked. The princess's voice came through mine very loud. The prince's voice came through mine very quiet. "Speak up a bit," the Queen said. "I am speaking up." "A bit more, my love." Testing, testing, Tobin, over. "That is better." We went over the rules. Count what you see. Do not double count. If you are not sure, call the umpire. Common names are fine for the sheep. Latin names will be added at the end by Mr. Halloran. Bumblebees count as separate species if you can tell them apart. If you cannot tell them apart, you write down bumblebee and Mr. Halloran will sort it out. "How many kinds of bumblebee are there?" the prince asked. "In this country," Mr. Halloran said, "about 24. 24. That is the number. All of them in this meadow." "Not all of them, maybe 7, maybe 8 on a good year." "So a bumblebee is 7 species." "A bumblebee is one animal," Mr. Halloran said, "but there are 7 kinds in this meadow." "So it is 7. It is 7 kinds." "Right." The prince wrote something on his clipboard. The princess rolled her eyes. The Queen smiled at the ground. We split up. The Queen and the princess took the upper meadow. The prince and I took the lower. Mr. Halloran took the path between. The prince walked beside me with his clipboard held flat against his front and his pencil ready. He looked very small in the long grass. "Lady Sira." "Yes." "Are we going to find a lot?" I thought about the morning. I thought about the 3 in 5 minutes. I thought about the blue. "I do not know," I said. He nodded. He took that answer seriously. He did not ask again. The first hour was slow. We walked a careful line from the gate to the old elm and back. The prince counted 3 meadow browns, 1 small white, and 2 bumblebees that he could not tell apart, and so wrote down as bumblebee with a small star next to it, because he had decided the stars meant, "Ask Mr. Halloran later." He took it all very seriously. He did not run. He did not chase. He stopped when I stopped. He knelt when I knelt. When a hoverfly came past his face, he did not flinch. Was that one? He said. That was a hoverfly. They count if we are doing pollinators. Today we are. So I write it. You write it. He wrote it. His handwriting was small and slow. He pressed hard with the pencil. He had a small crease between his eyebrows when he wrote. I watched it without meaning to. The walkie-talkie crackled at 10 past 11. Tabin over. Eloin over. How many do you have? I am not telling you. Tabin over. I am not telling you, over. Mother says you have to. Mother did not say that. I looked across the meadow. The queen was about 100 yards away, walking slowly through the upper grass. She was not looking at her walkie-talkie. She was looking at a patch of thistles. Mother, over, the princess said. The queen did not pick up. Mother, over. The queen did not pick up. The prince smiled to himself, a very small smile. He did not look up from his clipboard. Tabin, how many? Over. 6 over. 6. 6. That is nothing. It is what we have. We have 11. Good. Tabin. Over and out, the prince said. He clicked the walkie-talkie off. He put it back on his belt. He turned to me with the small crease still between his eyebrows. Lady Sira. Yes. Is 6 bad? It is not what we want. What do we want? At this point of the morning, 40. He did not say anything for a moment. He looked across the meadow toward where the queen and the princess were small figures in the grass. He looked at the clipboard. He looked at the meadow again. Why is it 6? He said. I do not know. He nodded the same way he had nodded at the gate. We walked on. Mr. Halloran came over the rise around 11:30. He had his hands in his pockets. He had his hat pulled low. His face was the face of a man trying very hard to look as though everything was fine. How are we doing here? 6, the prince said. 6. 6. And up top. 11, they said. Mr. Halloran took a breath in through his nose and let it out slow. Right, he said. Mr. Halloran. Yes, sir. What was it last year? At this time of the morning. Yes. 62. The prince looked at his clipboard. He looked at the number 6 on his sheet. He did not say anything. It is a slow year, Mr. Halloran said. It is a slow year everywhere. Why? That is a very big question. Why though? The weather has been wrong. The hedges have been cut at the wrong times in a lot of places. The fields next door have changed what they grow. The chemicals have changed. The winters have not been cold enough in the right way. Lots of small things, all at once. All at once. Yes. That is not fair. It is not. The prince held the clipboard tighter. Mr. Halloran. Sir. What can we do? Today. We can count what is here, so we know what is here, so that next year we know if it is more or less. That is what we can do today. That is all. That is the most important thing we can do today. You cannot fix what you have not counted. The prince thought about this for a long time. He was 9 years old and he thought about it for almost a minute. Then he nodded once and went back to looking at the grass. Mr. Halloran caught my eye over the boy's head. He shook his head a very small amount. He walked on toward the upper field. The prince and I did not speak for a while. We walked the line down toward the far hedge. The grass was higher there. The flowers were thicker. The scabious was out, those pale lilac pincushion heads on long stems. There was a stand of marjoram, gone purple. There was knapweed everywhere. The prince stopped. He went very still. I did not see what he had seen. I had been looking at the ground. Lady Sira. He said it without moving. Yes, come here. He said it the way you say it when you have a bird on your hand. I came over slow. I crouched beside him. He did not point. He moved his eyes. I followed his eyes. It was on a scabious flower, about 4 feet in front of him. It was blue. I had seen it before. I knew it the second I saw it. The pale silver underneath, the small dark spots, the size of it, the blue on the upper wing catching the late morning light and holding it the way the dawn light had held it. I did not say anything. The prince did not say anything. We crouched together in the long grass and we watched the butterfly. It was working the scabious. It would settle for a few seconds. It would lift. It would settle again on the next flower over. It was unhurried. It did not know we were there, or it knew and did not mind. The prince did not raise his clipboard. He did not reach for his pencil. He did not lift the walkie-talkie. He whispered, "Lady Sira." "Yes." "What is that?" "I do not know." "You do not know?" "No." He looked at me. His eyes were very large. "You know all of them." "I do not know this one." He looked back at the butterfly. It had moved to the next flower. It was a little closer to us now. "We need Mr. Halloran," he said. "We do." "Walkie-talkie." "Quiet." He took the walkie-talkie off his belt very slowly. He turned the volume down to almost nothing. He put it close to his mouth. "Mr. Halloran, over." A pause, a crackle. "Yes, sir." "Come to us quiet, over." "Where are you?" "Far hedge, scabious, quiet please, over." Another pause. "Coming." The prince put the walkie-talkie back on his belt. He did not move otherwise. He stayed in the same crouch. His knees must have hurt. He did not show it. I watched him more than I watched the butterfly for a moment. The crease between his eyebrows was gone. His mouth was a little open. He was breathing through his mouth the way children do when they are concentrating very hard. The butterfly lifted. The prince made a tiny sound, not even a word. It came down again 2 flowers over, closer. We waited. Mr. Halloran came down the slope the way an old man comes down a slope when he is trying not to make a sound. Slow, sideways, one hand on his hat. He saw us. He saw where we were looking. He stopped about 10 feet behind us. He came the last few feet on his knees through the grass. He looked. He did not speak for a long time. I watched his face. I have known Mr. Halloran's face since I was a child. I have seen it bored, and I have seen it tired, and I have seen it gentle with my mother in the last weeks of her life. I had not seen the face he made then. He whispered something. "Say again," I said. "Pollinator corridon." "Mr. Halloran." "Chocolate blue." The prince looked at him. "Is that good?" "That is." Mr. Halloran did not finish the sentence. His mouth worked. He pressed his lips together. "That is good, sir. Yes, that is very good." "How good?" Mr. Halloran was a long time answering. The butterfly worked another flower. We all watched it. "I have not seen one of these in this county," he said, "since I was 33 years old." The prince looked at me. "How old is Mr. Halloran?" 73, Mr. Halloran said. The prince did the sum on his fingers. He did it twice. 40 years. 40 years. In Aldermere. In Aldermere. The prince looked at the butterfly. He looked at the empty clipboard line under small white. He did not write anything yet. Mr. Halloran. Sir, are you sure? I am sure. Are you very sure? Mr. Halloran almost laughed. He did not. The breath came out of him in a small, soft sound. I am very sure, sir. Should we tell Mother? In a moment, let it finish what it is doing. Let it go where it wants to go. Then we will tell your mother. The prince nodded. We stayed in the grass. The butterfly worked the scabious for what I would later say was 4 minutes. Mr. Halloran would say 6. The prince would say it was an hour, and we would both laugh and not correct him. It lifted, it went up over the hedge, it went south toward the chalk path, it was gone. The prince let out a breath. Lady Sira. Yes. My leg has gone to sleep. Mine too. Mr. Halloran's must be terrible. It is, Mr. Halloran said. Help me up. We helped him up. He was shaking. I had thought it was his knees. It was not his knees. The prince picked up his clipboard. He had not written on it for the last 15 minutes. He held the pencil. He looked at Mr. Halloran. How do you spell it? Chalk Hill, one word, 2 L's in chalk, blue, capital C, capital B. The prince wrote it, small and slow, pressed hard. The pencil dented the paper. He held the clipboard up. Like that. Just like that, sir. Mr. Halloran took the walkie-talkie off my belt because his hands were shaking too much to do his own. Ma'am, over. Yes. Ma'am, would you come down to the far hedge? A pause. Is everyone all right? Everyone is fine. Please come down. Please bring the princess. Slowly. No need to hurry, but please come. A longer pause. We are coming. The queen came down through the long grass with the princess at her shoulder. She walked the way a mother walks when she has been told everyone is fine, but has not been told why she has been called. Steady, watchful, not fast. She stopped when she reached us. She looked at Mr. Halloran's face. She looked at the prince's face. She looked at mine. Tell me. Tobin found a chalk hill blue, ma'am. The queen did not say anything for a moment. She is a woman who knows the names of butterflies. She knows what the chalk hill blue is. She knows what it has not been in Aldermere for a long time. Are you sure? I am sure, ma'am. Lady Sira saw it too. So did the prince. It was here on these scabious for about 4 minutes. 6, the prince said. 6 minutes. Where did it go? South over the hedge, toward the chalk path. The queen turned to the prince. She did not say anything grand. She did not make a speech. She put her hand on the top of his head the way a mother does, and she left it there for a moment. He looked up at her. His face was very serious. You did well, she said. I did not do anything. You did the hardest thing. What was the hardest thing? You stayed still. He thought about that. He nodded. The princess had not spoken. She had been standing a little behind her mother, looking at the empty flowers where the butterfly had been. She was 12, and she was at the age where a 12-year-old does not want to be impressed by a 9-year-old's anything. She was impressed anyway. I could see it on her. Was it really blue, she said. Really blue. Like the sky blue. More like. The prince looked for the word. He did not find it. He pointed at the small patch of speedwell by his boot. Like that, but bigger. Speedwell blue, the princess said. Speedwell blue, yes. That is a good color. It is. The princess crouched down beside her brother. She did not look at him. She looked at the scabious. Tobin. Yes. Well done. Thank you. I am still winning the count. You are not. We have 11. We have 7. 7. And a chalk hill blue. The princess thought about this. And a chalk hill blue, she said. Yes, fine, you win. I do not win. You win. It is not about winning. Tobin. What? You win. He did not answer. He held the clipboard against his chest. Mr. Halloran took a clean sheet of paper from his pocket. He had carried it folded for 40 years, I think, against the chance of this exact thing. He smoothed it on his knee. He wrote out the formal record, date, time, location to the nearest meter, habitat, weather, observers, species, Latin name, common name, number of individuals, behavior. He gave the pencil to the prince for the observer line. The prince wrote his name. He did not write his title. He wrote Tobin. He wrote it small. He gave the pencil back. Mr. Halloran. Sir, what happens to this paper? It goes to the county recorder. By tonight. By hand if I can manage it. And then to the national scheme. And then it lives forever in a database. Forever. Forever. So in 100 years, someone will know we saw it. They will know you saw it by name. The prince looked at the paper. He looked at his name on it. He did not say anything for a moment. Good, he said. We went back to the count. We counted for another 2 hours. The numbers stayed low. By the end of the afternoon, we had 31 species across both teams. Mr. Halloran said it was the worst count in Thornwick history. He said it 3 times, each time a little quieter. But on the bottom of the sheet on the line for notable records, there was one entry written in a child's careful hand. Chalkhill Blue, 1. Mr. Halloran said it was the most important entry he had made in his life. He said it once. He said it under his breath. I do not think the prince heard him. I did. The light went gold around 6. It does that at Thornwick in July. The sun comes down the slope of the western downs and the meadow turns the color of old honey for about 20 minutes, and then the color leaves and the dew starts to come back and the day is finished. We walked back toward the hall in a loose group. The Queen walked ahead with Mr. Halloran. They were talking quietly. I could hear the shape of it but not the words. He was telling her, I think, what would happen now, who would be told, what would change. The princess walked beside her brother. She was not holding his hand. She was 12, and 12-year-olds do not hold their 9-year-old brother's hand. But she walked close. Her shoulder bumped his shoulder a few times and she did not move away. The prince was carrying the battered green clipboard. He had not let go of it all day. He held it the way a child holds something he has decided is his. He would not have given it up if I had asked. I did not ask. I walked behind them. I was tired in a way I had not been tired in a long time. It was a good tired. We came up the path past the orchard. The apples were small and green. The bench where the king's father used to sit was in shadow. The hall was ahead of us, long and low, with the windows starting to catch the gold. At the gate of the walled garden, the Queen stopped. She turned around. Lady Sira. Ma'am. Thank you. It was not me, ma'am. It was the meadow, she said, and it was you who kept the meadow. I did not know what to say to that. I did not say anything. She nodded once, the way she does, and she went on toward the hall with the children. Mr. Halloran stayed back. Sira. Yes. Did you see it this morning? I looked at him. He was an old man with his hat in his hand, and his eyes very tired and very awake at the same time. At dawn, I said, on knapweed by the gate, I thought I had imagined it. You did not imagine it. No. Why did you not say? I did not believe myself. He nodded. He understood that. He has been a naturalist for 50 years. He has not believed himself a great many times. It was here all along. It was here all along. 40 years, he said. Somewhere in this valley, or it came back, or it never went. We will never know. No. That is all right. It is. He put his hat back on. He took the formal record sheet out of his pocket and checked it again, the way a man checks a winning ticket. He smiled a small smile at it. He put it back. I am going to drive to the county recorder tonight. 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 Will he be in? He will be when I knock. He walked down the drive to his old green car. I watched him go. He moved like a younger man than the man who had come up the drive that morning. I locked the garden gate. I walked back to the meadow. I should have gone home. The supper was waiting. My husband would be wondering, but I went back to the meadow. I stood at the gate the way I had stood at it at dawn. The light was nearly gone. The flowers were closing. A late bumblebee was working a thistle near my boot, slow with the cool. A moth came past my face and was gone before I had named it. I listened. The meadow was still quiet, but it was a different quiet now. It was the quiet of something that has been seen. The quiet of something that does not have to prove anything to anybody, because somebody, at last, has knelt in the long grass and waited. I thought about the boy, 9 years old, the crease between his eyebrows, the way he had stayed still, the way he had whispered my name without moving his head. I thought about Mr. Halloran on his knees in the grass, an old man on his knees, his hands shaking. I thought about 40 years. I thought about my mother, who had taught me to count in this meadow. I thought about her mother, who had taught her. I thought about the women in my family who had walked this gate and listened to this grass and written the numbers down in a battered notebook that we still kept in a drawer in the cottage. We had counted in lean years before. We had counted in years when we were sure we were watching a thing end. We had been wrong sometimes about the ending. I locked the meadow gate. I walked home in the last of the light. Behind me, the meadow held what it had always held. Quiet, patient, smaller than we wanted this year, smaller than last year, but not empty. Never quite empty. A meadow remembers. That is the thing they do not put in the books. A meadow remembers what has lived in it, the way an old house remembers the people who have walked its floors. You think it has forgotten, and it has not forgotten. It is only waiting for someone small enough and still enough and patient enough to come and kneel down in the long grass and look. And that, in the end, is what the count is for. Not the numbers, the kneeling,